and we are live. Welcome to Fun Time with Bob. How you doing, Bob?
Doing well, Niurka.
Can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about as your journey as an entrepreneur?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Bob Lantelme, and I was in sales and event management and program administration for 25 years. And I experienced a lot of injury and illness, accidents, and I found myself recovering, rehabbing, spending most of my time, most of my weeks dealing with those things. And I really had lost hope that I could work in a conventional setting, conventional way, and then COVID came along, and I saw it as a complete opportunity to be able to reach people with the way that I serve, that with my message, with my story, and have the flexibility to be able to use virtual stages and screens and platforms in order to become an entrepreneur and to help people. So that's how it kind of all started for me as an entrepreneur. So I'm a real newbie.
You're a newbie, but you have the soul entrepreneur because you there was a challenge and you saw an opportunity, right? You took the time during COVID to transform your ideas and find your way. I think that's very admirable.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
yes, all right. And so, can you tell us a little bit how you came about the realization after so many years in sales that it comes very handy as an entrepreneur? Um, what make you realize, okay, this is the time to pivot. This is time I need to do something different than I did before.
Um, like I said, I had dealt with a lot of injuries, accidents, illnesses, surgeries, things like that. And big part of my life was going to therapy, physical therapy, and um, getting all kinds of procedures and trigger point injections, so on and so forth. And the flexibility of becoming an entrepreneur, becoming a speaker, becoming someone who can use his experiences, his gifts, his talents to help others, to serve others, and do it on my time with a flexible schedule was really, you know, the opportunity presented by being in a mass pandemic and where people weren't able to go into offices and things like that. So I participated in a lot of challenges and summits and all kinds of things, trying to figure out how I wanted to show up in the world, how I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And, a lot of people wanted, make you a course maker or a coach or a consultant. And I have talents for those things, and I have the ability to do those things, and I've coached in other ways and taught in ways, but I really personally want to be someone who brings his message and his mission to the world. And I feel like the best way for me to do that is the way that I'm going about doing that.
And there is no one way. So whatever works for you, that's the right answer for you. Um, and you feel comfortable that that's how you're going to get closer. And there's something magical about speaking, right? Especially when you do it with through storytelling. people listen. They pay attention. We're conditioned as we children, and we wanted to listen to all the stories, to listen to storytelling. So who say that that's not the way for you? I think that's powerful, right? It's how you present yourself on the stage um, and become the next big Bob Lantelme. Because nobody else, you're not going to be Tony Robbins or nothing else. You're going to be yourself with your message, and that's amazing.
Yeah, to me, Niurka, that's actually the most important thing. Is I don't feel comfortable trying to be somebody else. I wouldn't make it trying to be some of those names that you mentioned, or some of the great coaches or consultants or coaches. I, I'm a very different guy in the way that I approach things, and I I always think about David and Goliath, and everybody knows that story, whether you're Christian or you're not. Like, that David the shepherd boy, conquered Goliath the giant who had all kinds of armor and weapons and everything. But what a lot of people don't realize is that King Saul, who was also the head of the army, offered David all his armor and everything, and David refused it because he didn't feel comfortable. He felt comfortable with a slingshot and some stones because that's what he had used to kill the lions and the bears that were trying to get his sheep. So that's me. I have to be someone who does it the way I need to do it, the way that's how I'm going to thrive. That's how I'll be the best to my fellow man, to my customers, to anybody that I would serve. Is that I'm going to be unique and I'm going to be different. And it might not be as smooth a road. It might not be, as prosperous at first, or whatever. But literally, for me to do this, I've got to do it my way. Not that I'm not open to advice, not open to consultation and coaching. I get all that. But really, just to be myself and be authentic is how I'll be the best me, and I can be the best for everybody that I'm going to serve and interact with.
And I think that's the answer. We can get all the tools and we can get all the information, but it's the way that we apply that, using our own inner talents and our strength and our experience. Because I'm sure you have sales. The sales will come. It will help you in whatever new thing that you do now, and whatever else you did in the past. Because I'm sure the only thing that you did was sales. You learn how to tell story. You have life experiences. Um, all that is who you are now. So that's what's going to help you how to deliver, and you can learn techniques and you can learn tricks. But the most important part, I believe, is the authenticity of being your true self. Because how to deliver that message. What do you think?
I totally agree with you, Niurka. I I have had a lot of experiences in life, and I have a lot of stories. I've had victories and I've had failures, and I've made a lot of mistakes. And sales is something that, just like you said about business, there's not one way to do it, but at the same time, you have to hone it, your craft. You have to really come to a mastery of it, and it took me a while, and it took me a lot of hard times and lean times to really excel at it, and get it to the point where I was, really, really, really good at it and really comfortable at it. And, and find what the way to, my way of doing it. And it, it helped me to uncover some things, to do things unconventionally, to learn some things about, about customers and stuff like that. So becoming a speaker and an entrepreneur is very similar in that with sales and with those things, you got to make your customers in the case of business, and or your audience as a speaker, or your, once again, your customers and your colleagues in sales, you got to make them feel important. You got to make them feel heard. You got to make them, feel like where they're coming from, and you're in their corner, that you want to help them, that you're an advocate for them, and they trust you, and those things take time, because and a lot of, I messed up a lot doing those things.
So who do you think during all this time has been fundamental in getting that clarity that you have now? How do you get there? Now you have a purpose, and you know what you need to get after, and the road might not be a straight road, because there's always a lot of twists and turns, but you already know what you want to do. That's half of the battle. So what do you think is a resource, a person, a mentor that has been fundamental in helping you get to that clarity?
So for me, it's not one person. It's been so many, actually, including yourself. I've worked with a lot of people to try and get clarity, because it what I'm trying to do, my mission, and what I'm trying to, and message, and what I'm trying to bring to the world isn't like orthodox. It's not conventional. It's not every day. There's not a million people doing it, and so to get the clarity of that, it really was so many people helping me. Even in the last few days, made major breakthroughs of clarity. And it was a lot of prayer, a lot of thought, a lot of meditation, a lot of deliberation, and a lot of sticking to my guns. When people tried to tell me, I couldn't show up in the world and do this. I couldn't um, earn money doing this. Maybe this was, not practical enough, so on and so forth. But every time I bring up what I'm trying to bring to the world and what I'm trying to do, it resonates with people. They've experienced it. They've done it themselves, or they've had it done to them. And so that's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me getting clearer and clearer, and getting more excited. And but yeah, I mean, I really have to be true to myself, as you know Shakespeare said in a much more eloquent way than I can. But if I'm not, I'll really feel uncomfortable. I'll really feel like David wearing King Saul's armor. I feel like I wouldn't be able to do it, and nor would I get any joy from it. And what I'm doing is bringing me joy, not just the people I'm working with.
And you mentioned it before, but can you explain for our listeners why? What are you trying to teach people with your speaking? What are you trying to inspire?
So, what I'm trying to inspire people to do, or be, or um, one, identify as and learn, is that there's so many promises that are made in life, and some of them are really, really big, giant promises, like, you know universal. But I'm dealing with, like, how people's relationships have been hurt, have been severed, have been strained, have been even estranged or separated or ended because there was unfulfilled promises. There was commitments that weren't kept. That um, people have good intentions. They don't mean to hurt others. They don't mean to, not carry out what they promised. But it happens in life because, especially in entrepreneurial communities and other places where people are so stressed and overworked and overwhelmed and their time is constantly filled, and yet they make promises to their friends, their kids, their spouse, their employees, or their colleagues that they don't mean to break, but they break, and therefore relationships are affected. And I'm trying to get people to realize that they live with broken promises, that's probably one of the reasons they have regrets and guilt, and they stay up at night thinking about these things. And also, I'm going to take it a step further. I intend to help people to fulfill promises they've made to their relationships, and from there we're gonna take it even farther. We're gonna pay it forward, and the promise breakers are going to become promise makers and promise keepers. We're going to get into communities, and we're going to help other people to do the same thing. And we're going to do it in a lot of different ways. There's going to be boot camps. There's going to be masterminds. There's going to be all kinds of things and events and accountability. So I'm excited to bring that to the world, and it's something that I'm really, at this point, like, I'm not worried about the detractors of saying that this can't be done, because I know it can.
I think that's awesome. I love what you say, from uh, promise breakers to promise makers. I think that's, yeah. How many times do we get distracted by life and we forget about something? It might be something small for you, but the person that you made it is a chip under, and it might be your children, it might be your parents did it to you, and you kind of chip away your trust on that person. So making that promise um, happen is important to rebuild that relationship, right? Um, we we never want to live with regrets, and promises are important, especially for a child. Um, so, can you tell us how you came to that? What is so important for you about making sure that people keep the promises?
So when I was 15 years old, I was sitting in an airport on Christmas Eve. I had flown back from my brother's, and my dad was supposed to pick me up, and he was later and later and later, and it was like 5 hours from the time he was supposed to pick me up, and the airport was actually closing, and they literally told me they're going to throw me out of the airport. And it was in a place that was like 2.5 hours from my home. I was 15. I had no way to get home. It was dark. It was scary, and they literally throw me out. And I sat there thinking in that airport on Christmas Eve that all the times that my dad had not made promises. He didn't come to my sports activities and games. He wasn't involved in my life. He worked all the time, and so, and he made promises that he didn't keep, and he couldn't keep. And like I said before, he didn't have any bad blood or bad will towards doing that. It just was, when I was growing up, he worked 3 states away, and from the state we lived in, and he was rarely home in time for me to spend time with him. And he always made this promise to me for all my life, and that he never kept. And it sounds crazy, Niurka, but it was like, we're going to go to New York City, and we're going to do all the things of New York City. We're going to go to the Empire State Building. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do all these things. And I took him at his word. My dad was a very honest man. He did not lie. He hated lying. So I took him at his word for a while, but I started to think, he's not telling the truth. This is never going to happen. He's lying. But interestingly enough, a few months before he died, I didn't know he was dying. He was going to die. He wasn't sick or anything like that. I found a way that we could fulfill the promise. And we went to New York City together. We went to Radio City Music Hall for the Christmas show. We did all the New York things. My dad was supposed to get knee surgery right after, a few months after that. And he could barely walk, but he didn't want to take a cab. He didn't want to do anything like that because he was having so much joy. He was experiencing, he wanted to experience the whole experience. And I've never seen him so joyful and so like childlike, and just to see how he felt and how I felt. And then, so when he died a couple months later, it completely changed how I look at him to this day, how I feel about him. It changed his legacy for me because we were able to fulfill that promise that he had made to me my whole life. So that's why I want to do this.
And that's powerful. I think that that's something that almost everybody can relate to, because I think we have made promises, or promises have been made and they haven't been kept, big or small, but they each matter. So I'm glad that you're doing that. Oh. So what is the next step? Your why. You're going to want to speak, and you're going to do this foundation to make wishes come true, and promises be kept. So what is the next step in your road to make this happen?
So the next step is attracting those that are to be part of this whole movement. I mean, those people are out there, and I'm looking to attract them. I'm looking to bring them into the buzzword like used a lot right now is tribe, family, community, whatever. But that's what it is. I'm looking to be part of and connect with those people that can identify with that can relate to that, either side of that story, whether it be the side that has had promises made to them that weren't kept, or commitments that weren't kept, or your parent that didn't show up to games or whatever, or the other side, and more particularly, because I do want to reunite the sides, reconcile those relationships, but more importantly, I want to get around those who can see that even despite good intentions, even despite all the things they did to sacrifice for others and all that they weren't able, that they made promises and commitments that they didn't keep. And there's some relationships that need repairing. Those are the people I'm looking to get around and spend time with and be with and help to, transform their lives and go from resentment and regrets to joy and fulfillment. And have how they feel changed and how others feel about them changed. And so at the end of their life, that their legacy will be totally different, that their history will be changed. And they can leave this world with no regrets and have no resentments toward them because of they weren't trustworthy or credible or truthful in their commitments and their promises.
And that's awesome. I think you're gonna have plenty of clients. The you know, so is this going to be you're going to have a website? You're going to have how people can contact you? Um, they should call your number, your email. Um, how they get started if they're interested on making it happen and become promise makers instead of
So yes, they can get in touch with me with at the phone number via text or call on the screen, as well as my email that's on the screen. Um, Websites and all those things are coming, but right now I'm looking to connect with that those people that identify with this, and I'm looking to help at least 180 people in the next year. And as the days go on, that number might seem small, but like right now, I'm looking to help at least 180 people in the next 365 days, and so those are the people I'm looking to identify with, and meet with and talk to, and getting started with masterminds and boot camps and all those good things, retreats, and every way that we can help repair these relationships and get the joy on those faces and in those families and those companies. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm about this.
that's awesome. So I can't wait to hear all the stories and all the people that you're going to be able to help. Um, I think it's going to be an incredible road, and you should definitely uh, record every single one of them because it's going to be powerful. You know, um, what is one thing? What is the one thing that you think it has helped you the most? Or what is the biggest challenge that you had to overcome to get to this point now?
So for me, um, it's physical health. It's all those things I had to rehab for and recover from, and um, I've had all kinds of accidents and injuries and illnesses that happen like all within a short period of time. I mean, I've had them my whole life, but like I had a period of like uh, 10, 11 months where I had multiple accidents of all kinds. I had cancer and the botched cancer surgery, had all kinds of head injury things, and all kinds of just weird stuff just happening, and having to, like, every time I started to recover from one, another one would happen. So physical health is has been my biggest barrier. um, and for me, you know I don't even want to claim this because I'm trying to be in a mindset where I'm confident that you know this is for me. So regardless of the obstacles, I could do this. But like technology stuff like this trips me up. Uh, I had to make you do your podcast in a different way because I got an echo or something. We got feedback. Technology trips me up some at times. So the getting with people and the helping people and the helping them to make their wishes or promises, all that, and their families and their relationships, and helping them to repair all that. I can't wait. I'm so excited to do more and more of that. But like all this technology stuff, is the stuff that can trip me up and be my obstacle. But I know there's so many people out there and so many resources and so many things. And as you told me in another conversation, you get better at stuff by just doing it. And I've been an athlete in my life, and I know what it takes to practice and do repetition of things. And you start with the basics and you go from there. So really, I guess most people would say if technology is my biggest obstacle, I'm in a good place.
I believe so. There's nothing like getting that connection, that the person to person. You already had that part conquered. The rest is easy. Uh, Sometimes we overcomplicate things, and technology might be sound scary, but if a 3 years old can do it, I'm sure we can figure it out. you know, and you know, everybody's connected now, so everybody's having the same kind of pain. Everybody's struggling with the same kind of technology issues. So you don't have to be scary. You just have to do it. You have to show up with your powerful message, and you will reach those people that you meant to serve. Because that's what it's all about.
So I'm gonna have to start using it to my advantage. That like tech is not my friend, and because like I said, I want to be authentic. So that's authentic, and like if we have to change the way people do podcasts, or we have to improvise and do that. I should use that to my advantage. I definitely have a performer background, and and doing things on the fly, improving and things like that. So I'm going to start taking your inspiration. I'm going to start using that I'm bad at technology as an to my advantage. And if it's if my dog comes in here and barks, or knocks over something, or my hands knock over something, or take a wire out, or whatever. We're gonna do this. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna make a weakness a strength, because you're my inspiration.
Thank you for that. And I think those dogs and cats that we have at home, they kind of become our coworkers, right? So they want to be here, and sometimes at not the right time. And that's okay, because everybody's doing the same thing. So that shouldn't stop. It's just another obstacle that needs to be overcome. That's all it is.
Well, I appreciate that encouragement. Yeah, because I have some insecurities on videos and screens and all that I don't have in real life. Like, I would feel more comfortable right now if I was on a stage speaking to 10,000 people than doing this. So I appreciate the encouragement and the inspiration, and the realization that we're all in this together, and we really are, and everybody's experiencing it. I mean, the word for 2020 is you're on mute.
A good one. I like that. Well, I think we forget that there's people that are expert at all this technology, and if you really want to make it perfect, you can always outsource and have them do it. Focus on your strength. Your strength is speaking. So, strength is bringing your message, and don't fret about the little details. Fret about connecting with the people that you're already doing that. You're doing that right now.
I appreciate that, and I agree with you. I know sometimes I do allow those things to trip me up, but it's a new world that we're living in with the pandemic and everything that's going on, and um, you know I I've taken on a lot of things in 2020 and 2021 that I thought I'd never do, and I've done them. So the technology can be conquered as well. And like you said, there's other entrepreneurs, other business people that can provide those resources and that you can outsource to. But as far as being perfect, I don't think anything I ever do will be perfect. I I kind of like the Japanese concept of wabi sabi, which is perfection in imperfection.
Well, I think that's important, and if you make the people that you're speaking to, you invite them in the journey, and they see that you're not perfect, that you're like them. It will also help you connect with them because you're showing your authentic self, and you will get better because the more practice that you do, you will get all those kinks out. I'm sure if I look at my first episode, even if Giselle was great, uh, my voice was so squeaky and everything, but it got a little bit better. We're still working on some kicks. um, so, you know, I remember when Broadband was around and we had to wait like 20 minutes to connect. You know, it will get better.
Yeah, that's funny that you say that. When you mess up or stuff like that, a lot of times other people don't even notice. My wife sings, and she's a great singer. She's a phenomenal singer, and if she was ever to make mistakes, like she has this nervous laugh, and I tell her that nobody would have known you messed up until you had the nervous laugh, and so it's like a giveaway. And it's funny, we were watching a singing competition the other night, and one of the contestants did exactly that. We didn't know he messed up, and then he did he actually started crying, but he gave it away. So you're right. A lot of times the things that we get so nervous about and so insecure about and worried about is like nobody else even notices. And if they do, it doesn't matter.
Well, um, when we're writing our own book or life book, it's important, right? And we are already ahead just by writing our own personal story, our own finding our own purpose. We're already ahead 20 steps in front of somebody else that's behind, that is just starting in that road. So you become an inspiration to them because they see you doing it, and it gives validation to them that they can do it too. So I think that's important. Don't compare yourself with somebody that already have it all figured out, because I'm sure they have volumes of pages that they have to go through. I think your purpose is tremendous. I think it's going to be a powerful story. So I can't wait to hear all the stories and all the people that you are going to be able to help. So I can't wait for real.
That makes me so happy because I have so much respect and appreciation and admiration for all that you've done, serving this country and helping so many other people, especially other vets and entrepreneurs, and figuring it out as you go, and being fearless, and doing it with a smile, a sense of humor. And I just appreciate so much about what you're doing, and you're a big inspiration for me as I watch you doing all these things. And then to have a conversation with you, and you told me why you did a podcast and why you did this and why you did that. It's like, wow, like she's somebody who's daring. She's unstoppable. She's Niurka's a force of nature, and somebody I'm happy to know and happy to get to know better more and more, and call a friend, and somebody who I just admire so much. So I'm excited about what you're doing, and I'm excited about how we're going to help others, and make this world a better place for sure.
Thank you for that, and definitely. I can't wait to. I think there's so many projects that we can work on the future, and your message is powerful. Your story is going to resonate with so many people. Um, I can't wait to see it. We definitely need to do it a year from now. I invite you to be back here and to tell me those stories. I think we need to make it, put it in the calendar a year from today, and tell everybody that's listening today all the people that you were able to help. Because I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing journey.
I accept that offer to be back in a year from now, and I want to share those stories, whether it be just talking about the stories, showing videos of the stories, anything, maybe some footage from a boot camp or something like that. I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to being back a year from now, and just showing the progress and how lives have changed. I really would love to do that.
It's a promise. So we have to make it happen.
Amen.
And into, I think it's, from promise breaker to promise maker. That just resonate. It rhymes. It's a dream come true for so many. That, yeah, it just resonate. So, and I'm sure there's going to be so many projects along the way, and so many books they're going to be writing about, so many TVs, interviews, and everything. So it's going to be incredible. What is one thing that you want to focus on, like in the next couple months? What's one thing that you want to really focus on? What do you think it will help you in your journey?
I'm sorry. I want to get a core group of people that I can work with, that I can help them to repair their relationships, and then we can work together and go further and start helping other people um, make good on their promises and repair their relationships, and even take it to a point of charity and communities, and um, working as an organization, really being someone who sets the example and lives the way, with integrity ourselves as an organization. But yeah, I want to work with a core group of clients that will become a group of ambassadors or evangelists of this movement, this message as well, and then from there go on to help many other people, and go through a training and a process. I have a proprietary process that I'm going to implement, and like I said, there'll be some masterminds and some peer-to-peer groups, support groups, things like that, and there'll be a lot of training and advising and learning from each other. But then we're going to take it farther, and we're going to make more promise makers, and we're going to give back, because of our lives have been changed, and we have joy, and we want to get that joy back to others in the community, and all around, wherever people are. I mean, whether this is in the United States or globally, just this is a small spark to start a big fire.
And that's the power of being global. And I think, you know, you listening, I'm sure you are, and you want to be go from a promise breaker to a promise maker. There you got Bob that you need to contact today and make it happen. I think no more words are needed than that, right?
That's right.
So, any additional words that you want to say, or anything else that you want to add or recommend?
Well, I know that you had brought up my years of sales experience, and now it's an important thing within the entrepreneurial community. It's an important thing to know, and I just say to you, to your audience, what you said to me about technology is true for sales too. You can do it. It's it's really just making the party that you're working with feel important and known and heard and seen, and that you care about them, and you're not just trying to force a product or a service on them, that you're really trying to help them, serve them, change their lives. And anybody can sell if they have that attitude. And I just thank you and your audience, Niurka, for this time. I'm so happy to be able to bring my message to your audience, to this world. And I'm so thankful and grateful for everything you've done for me.
Well, thank you. I think it has been a tremendous scene. You know, you came to my life about what? About a couple months ago, and here we are. It's already impacting my life. I'm already on the way to be from a promise breaker to a promise maker, because we all are in some way or another. We always have broken a promise, and you just reminded me that it's important. It's very important to make it happen. To make it, doesn't matter how small we think it is. We need to rebuild that trust. We need to be able to make those little cracks in the trust that we build with the closest that are to us. Um, we need to rebuild that relationship. We cannot wait until it's too late to do that. So you definitely had an impact on my life, and I thank you for that.
Thank you, and you've impacted my life as well. Like you said, we came into each other's lives just a couple, 2, 3 months ago, and there's been so much impact made, and I think just us and our hearts for people will change lives, and I have no doubt about that. And I'm going to continue to watch you just soar and grow and because you are amazing, and I don't think there's anything you can't do. And I'm looking forward to us doing things together, helping each other's tribes and clients and even families and friends. And thanks again so much.
Thank you, and it was a pleasure to have you here. And it's a promise we're going to do this again in a year from now. I'm gonna go put it on my calendar. But yeah, I can't wait, and I can't wait to hear all you accomplished in all that year. Because one life that you're able to change, that's enough. That's powerful, and it's gonna be more than that. It's gonna be thousands, but just one life is powerful enough. So thank you.
Thank you.